Allison Henderson with Moving Image Consulting, and today we're talking about sexual harassment. It's a hot topic these days, as we all know, and it's a perfect time to start thinking about what nonverbal behavior we give off that may be perceived in a different light by others. It's subconscious. You don't know that you're doing it. But once we bring awareness to it and we make the subconscious conscious, then you can start to change behavior. Our workshops are geared towards opening up the conversation around sexual harassment and really looking at the specifics of what is happening in your organization. The last thing you want is to be in the news or to be splashed on social media for sexual misconduct. Your employees would be devastated. And what's going to happen is they're going to come to you and they're going to say, "But I didn't know I was doing that," or "I didn't touch him," or "I didn't touch her." And true, you probably didn't physically touch them, but it's all in the eye of the beholder. And that is really coming to the forefront now as we're learning. So what I want to do today is give you a couple of tips to look for right now so that you can take some action before you get into 2018. Share this video with your employees, with your colleagues, with your friends. Let's make it go viral so that we all start 2018 in a better position. First thing you want to think about is watching your employees to see if they do this twisting body rhythm. This is something where your shoulders are going in a different way than your hips, and it is considered a flirtation rhythm. And obviously, you don't want any of your sales team or your consultants that are going into other businesses doing this kind of flirtation. It's not appropriate in the workplace, but again, it's subconscious and people don't know that they do it. Men do it as well as women. It's a little bit more prevalent in the younger age groups. So if you have a lot of millennials, you may want to start looking for this twisting behavior. It kind of looks like they're getting ready to do some dancing. The next thing to think about is your personal space. I've done many videos on personal space. Here, the key is, again, that eye of the beholder, the perception of others. They may not have the same personal space bubble as you do, and you want to err on the side of a larger space bubble around you. If you're getting too close to someone, they need to speak up and say, "I'm really not comfortable with you being this close." If they're not speaking up, you need to watch for their body language of backing away or closing off to you, because that's a signal that they're uncomfortable, and it's the repetitive nature of that. If you have a habit of coming in too close to others, it's going to be that repetitive habit that creates that toxic environment, and it's going to be something that you may not really be aware of, because for you it's fine, for the others it's not. Moving on to the lean in. This is something that we look for. We look for that as a signal of coming along with us and of agreement. But if it's taken to the extreme and we're leaning way across the conference table, and women, if you have a V-neck blouse on, or men, if you have a couple buttons unbuttoned, we don't want to see what's down there. So be aware of that. Ask for somebody to pass you the sheet of paper or the pen or the water bottle, whatever it is. Secondly, the other way that lean in gets us in trouble is when we come up to someone at their desk and maybe are pointing to something on the computer screen. Look at how the proximity of my body to the chair, and I'm in this close. If someone turns to look at me, they're getting a face full of something that they don't want. And again, the first time it happens, "Oops, sorry, I got carried away looking at your computer screen," may not be offensive, but if it happens repetitively, that's when your employees start to go, "What does he mean by that?" Or "Why is she coming in so close to me?" Once the brain starts to go down that path of why is he or she doing this, then they start to ask their friends, "Do they do it with you when they come into your office?" And we're off to litigation. Okay. Next, we want to think about your spatial differences. You want to be on the same plane with the person you're talking to. That means if they're standing, go ahead and stand up. Meet them eye to eye. If they're sitting down, join them sitting. This is why doctors nowadays are taught to get on our level and sit down so that they can look at us more face to face. This again is that power struggle. Just like that lean in changes the power dynamic and makes me lord over you, the same thing. If I'm standing up and you're sitting down and I'm looking down my nose at you, there's a superiority thing that's coming up there. Or again, the repetitive nature of that is going to make somebody wonder why you won't sit on their level. Okay, the next thing to think about is gesture and posture. There are some postures and gestures that we really need to just eradicate from the workplace. One for women is the shoulders back and the chest out kind of thing. Again, it's a little bit flirty, particularly if you stick the hip out. Some people just kind of stand naturally in this kind of posture, and it's putting things out in the forefront that you maybe don't want to be there. The same thing with walking with maybe a sachet to our hips or something. Anything provocative or evocative, that's where we get, well, she was coming on to me instead of vice versa or something. We got to watch that. Men, your posture and gesture that you have to watch out for is the man spread. I'm sure you've heard of it before, but we have to get rid of it. Leaning back in those big rolly chairs because they lean back and putting our legs up and our arms out. The alpha male is done. Okay? We need to get away from that because it really doesn't belong in the workplace. It's going to be seen as that sexual predator kind of thing, and obviously we don't want that. So before there is that mark in your file, before someone comes to you and relates a story that suddenly you have to figure out as a manager or as a human resource person in your office, what are we going to do with this? Bring in Moving Image Consulting and we will handle this. We will teach what these nonverbal signals are, and there are a lot more. This is just the top 5 quick things. There are many more that we should be looking at and that are subtle. You don't realize you're doing it. And again, it's just that awareness that we need to bring. So you're going to get ahead of the curve because you're going to call me, Allison Henderson, at Moving Image Consulting, www.movingimageconsulting.com, and we're going to get you off and running in 2018 with a safe, healthy, and communicative environment.